During the final years of World War II, Nazi Germany launched a series of secret construction projects, experimental weapons programs, and hidden research facilities that remained unknown to much of the world until Allied forces uncovered them in 1945. Some were massive underground complexes built to survive relentless bombing, while others were ambitious concepts that existed only in plans and scattered reports. From the mysterious claims surrounding Die Glocke to the enormous tunnels of the Riese Complex and the advanced rocket research at Peenemunde, these projects reveal how far German engineers pushed technology during a desperate phase of the war. By separating documented facts from speculation, we uncover how secrecy, propaganda, and unfinished plans created some of the most enduring wartime mysteries ever discovered after the conflict ended. Die Glocke, the alleged secret bell-shaped experiment. Die Glocke, which translates to the bell, is one of the most mysterious and controversial projects often associated with Nazi Germany's secret wartime research. According to various post-war claims and disputed testimonies, the device was described as a large bell-shaped structure allegedly developed under SS supervision near the end of World War II. Reports about Die Glocke emerged decades after the war, particularly through the writings of Polish journalist Igor Witkowski, who suggested that the experiment may have been connected to advanced propulsion research, energy experiments, or even exotic physics concepts. However, no confirmed technical documentation has ever been recovered, making the project a subject of intense debate among historians. Some theories claim the device was tested at a facility connected to the Riese Complex in Lower Silesia, an underground construction network built using forced labor between 1943 and 1945. Witness accounts describe a metallic structure suspended within a framework and surrounded by unknown substances, but these descriptions remain unverified. The absence of concrete physical evidence has led many researchers to classify Die Glocke as either a misunderstood experimental project or a myth shaped by Cold War-era speculation. Despite this uncertainty, the story continues to attract attention because it reflects the broader atmosphere of secrecy surrounding late-war Nazi research programs. What is historically documented is that Germany invested heavily in unconventional science during the final years of the conflict, including advanced rocketry, jet propulsion, and experimental weapons systems. As Allied forces advanced in 1945, many facilities were evacuated or destroyed, and numerous scientists were captured or recruited by the United States and the Soviet Union through programs such as Operation Paperclip. This chaotic end to the war created gaps in the historical record, allowing rumors and legends like Die Glocke to grow over time. Today, most mainstream historians approach the subject cautiously, emphasizing the lack of reliable primary sources. Whether the bell-shaped device represented a real experiment or a misinterpretation of other research remains unresolved. Regardless of its authenticity, Die Glocke symbolizes the mystery that still surrounds certain wartime projects and illustrates how secrecy and incomplete records can blur the line between documented history and enduring legend. V3 Cannon, the underground supergun at Mimoyek. The V3 Cannon, officially known as the Vergeltungswaffe 3 or Vengeance Weapon 3, was an ambitious long-range artillery project developed by Nazi Germany during World War II. Unlike the V1 flying bomb or the V2 rocket, the V3 relied on a multi-chamber gun design intended to fire projectiles over extremely long distances using a series of secondary charges placed along the barrel. Construction began in 1943 at a heavily fortified underground site near Mimoyeke in northern France. The goal was to create a weapon capable of bombarding London from across the English Channel, allowing Germany to strike British targets without relying on aircraft. The Mimoyeke complex consisted of deep tunnels carved into chalk hillsides, designed to house multiple angled gun barrels protected from Allied bombing. Engineers believed that once completed, the installation could fire hundreds of shells per day, creating a constant barrage against civilian and industrial targets. The project demonstrated the German leadership's growing interest in large-scale retaliation weapons as the strategic situation worsened after defeats on the Eastern Front and the increasing pressure from Allied air campaigns. However, the V-3 faced serious engineering challenges. The complex firing mechanism required precise timing, and early testing revealed problems with reliability and accuracy. Allied intelligence eventually identified the site, and repeated bombing missions in 1944 severely damaged the facility before it could become fully operational. The most significant attack occurred on July 6, 1944, when British Lancaster bombers dropped massive tallboy bombs that collapsed sections of the underground structure. After the Allied landings in Normandy, German forces abandoned the Mimoyek site, effectively ending the large-scale V-3 project. Smaller versions of the cannon were later deployed in Luxembourg during the winter of 1944, but their impact was limited compared to earlier expectations. Today, the remains of the underground complex stand as a reminder of the scale and ambition behind Germany's late-war megaprojects. The V-3 illustrates how innovative engineering ideas often struggled against practical realities, especially when faced with Allied technological advances and relentless strategic bombing. Silbervogel, the suborbital rocket bomber concept. Silbervogel, meaning silver bird, was one of the most ambitious aerospace concepts proposed by Nazi Germany during World War II. Developed in the late 1930s by Austrian engineer Eugen Sanger and mathematician Irene Brett, the project envisioned a rocket-powered bomber capable of traveling at suborbital speeds across vast distances. The idea involved launching the aircraft along a long rocket sled track, accelerating it to extreme velocity before it climbed into the upper atmosphere and skipped along the edge of space. According to theoretical calculations, Silbervogel could have reached targets across the Atlantic Ocean, including cities in North America, before gliding back toward Europe or landing in Allied territory. The design was remarkably advanced for its time, incorporating ideas that would later influence early spaceplane concepts and hypersonic flight research. Engineers proposed a heat-resistant structure to survive the intense temperatures generated during high-speed atmospheric travel. The bomber would have carried conventional explosives rather than nuclear weapons, as Germany had not developed atomic technology during the war. Although the concept remained largely theoretical, Sanger's research attracted attention from German aviation authorities as they searched for ways to extend their strategic reach beyond Europe. Despite its bold vision, Silbervogel faced enormous technical and logistical obstacles. The materials required to withstand re-entry heat did not yet exist, and the rocket propulsion systems needed to achieve such speeds were still experimental. As the war progressed and resources became scarce, Germany shifted its focus toward more practical jet aircraft and missile programs. By 1945, the Silbervogel project existed only in design papers and wind tunnel studies, never advancing to a working prototype. After the war, both American and Soviet scientists examined Sanger's research documents, recognizing the long-term potential of high-speed spaceplane technology. Although Silbervogel never flew, it remains a fascinating example of forward-thinking engineering that anticipated future developments in aerospace science. The concept illustrates how wartime innovation sometimes pushed beyond immediate military needs, exploring ideas that would only become feasible decades later during the early space age. America Bomber, the Long-Range Strike Aircraft Program. The America Bomber program was a strategic initiative launched by Nazi Germany to develop aircraft capable of striking targets across the Atlantic Ocean, particularly the eastern United States. As early as 1942, German leadership began exploring ways to extend the reach of the Luftwaffe beyond Europe, hoping to disrupt American industry and morale. Several major aircraft manufacturers, including Messerschmitt, Junkers, and Focke-Wulf, submitted proposals for long-range bombers designed to carry heavy payloads over thousands of kilometers without refueling. Among the most notable designs were the Messerschmitt Me 264, the Junkers Ju 390, and the Focke-Wulf Ta 400, each representing different approaches to solving the challenges of range, payload, and fuel efficiency. Engineers focused on large wingspans, multiple engines, and advanced navigation systems to make transatlantic missions possible. Some reports suggest the prototype aircraft conducted extended test flights, though operational missions against North America were never carried out. The program reflected Germany's growing interest in strategic bombing as Allied forces increased pressure on the European continent. However, the America Bomber project faced serious limitations. Germany's industrial capacity was stretched thin by ongoing conflicts on multiple fronts, and the resources required to build and maintain such massive aircraft were difficult to sustain. Allied bombing raids on German factories further slowed development, while the rise of jet technology shifted attention toward interceptors rather than heavy bombers. By 1944, many of the program's designs had been canceled or reduced to experimental status. When Allied forces advanced into Germany in 1945, they captured several incomplete aircraft and design documents related to the America Bomber initiative. Post-war analysis revealed that while the concept was technically ambitious, it was unlikely to have achieved significant strategic success given the logistical challenges involved. Today, the program is remembered as an example of how late-war German planners sought to expand the scale of aerial warfare, even as the realities of the conflict made such long-range operations increasingly impractical. Riese Complex, the giant underground construction project. The Riese Complex, whose name means giant in German, was one of the largest and most secretive construction efforts undertaken by Nazi Germany during the final years of World War II. Located in the Owl Mountains of Lower Silesia, an area that is now part of modern Poland, the project began around 1943 under the supervision of the SS and the Todt organization. Engineers carved extensive tunnel systems, reinforced chambers, and underground corridors into solid rock, creating a vast network whose full purpose remains uncertain even today. Some historians believe the complex was intended as a new Führer headquarters for Adolf Hitler, while others argue that it may have been connected to weapons research or protected industrial production hidden from Allied air raids. Construction relied heavily on forced labor drawn from nearby camps, particularly prisoners from Gross Rosen. Workers faced brutal conditions, including poor ventilation, minimal equipment, and constant danger from collapses and explosions during excavation. Thousands are believed to have died during the construction process, making Riese not only a massive engineering undertaking but also a tragic example of wartime exploitation. By early 1945, several sections of the complex had been partially completed, including large halls with reinforced concrete walls that suggested ambitious long-term plans. As Soviet forces advanced into Lower Silesia in the spring of 1945, German units abandoned many of the sites, leaving behind unfinished tunnels and scattered machinery. After the war, investigators searched for hidden weapons or secret laboratories, but found little definitive evidence explaining the complex's final purpose. This lack of clarity fueled decades of speculation about secret technologies or hidden treasures, although most historians emphasize logistical and defensive motives. Today, parts of the Riese complex are open to visitors, offering a glimpse into the immense scale of underground construction carried out during the war's final phase. The project stands as a reminder of how desperation drove increasingly ambitious and secretive building efforts as Germany's strategic situation collapsed. Wewelsburg Castle, the SS occult expansion project. Wewelsburg Castle became one of the most symbolically important sites connected to the SS during Nazi Germany's rule, largely due to the ambitions of Heinrich Himmler, who envisioned transforming the structure into a spiritual and ideological center for his organization. Located in North Rhine-Westphalia, the triangular-shaped Renaissance castle was leased by the SS in 1934 and gradually converted into a ceremonial complex that reflected Himmler's fascination with mythology, symbolism, and historical imagery. Rather than serving as a frontline military installation, Wewelsburg functioned as a project meant to strengthen identity, loyalty, and hierarchy within the SS leadership. Extensive renovations began in the late 1930s and expanded during the early years of World War II. Architects redesigned interior spaces to include grand halls, meeting chambers, and underground rooms that were intended for gatherings of senior officers. One of the most well-known areas was the Obergruppenführersaal, a circular chamber decorated with a dark sun symbol embedded in the floor. Above it was a vaulted hall that Himmler imagined as a ceremonial space for high-ranking SS members. These designs reflected an attempt to combine medieval imagery with modern political ideology, creating a sense of historical continuity that reinforced the SS narrative. The expansion of Wewelsburg also included plans for large-scale construction beyond the castle walls. Surrounding villages were affected as land was cleared for new buildings, and forced laborers from nearby camps were used to carry out heavy construction work. Prisoners faced harsh conditions, and many suffered from exhaustion, malnutrition, and disease while working on the project. By 1943 and 1944, resources were increasingly diverted toward the war effort, slowing the pace of expansion. Yet, Himmler continued to promote the castle as a symbolic center for the SS's future. As Allied forces advanced into Germany in 1945, SS units evacuated Wewelsburg and attempted to destroy parts of the complex to prevent capture. Explosions damaged sections of the castle, but much of the structure survived. American troops secured the site soon after, uncovering architectural plans that revealed the scale of Himmler's vision. While later popular culture often portrayed Wewelsburg as a center of occult activity, historians generally interpret it as an ideological project, rooted more in symbolism and propaganda than in supernatural practices. Today, Wewelsburg Castle serves as a museum and memorial dedicated to examining the history of the SS and the broader context of Nazi ideology. Exhibits explore how architecture, ritual, and political messaging were used to shape identity within the organization. The castle stands as a powerful reminder of how symbolism and power were intertwined during one of the most turbulent periods of modern European history, illustrating how ideological ambition influenced both construction projects and the lives of those forced to build them. Bunker Valentine, the massive submarine assembly facility. Bunker Valentine was one of the largest reinforced concrete structures built by Nazi Germany during World War II, designed as a protected submarine assembly facility intended to withstand Allied bombing. Located near Bremen along the Weser River, construction began in 1943, as Germany sought new ways to produce advanced U-boat submarines, despite the increasing destruction caused by Allied air raids. The bunker formed part of a broader strategy to move critical industrial operations underground or into heavily fortified sites, allowing production to continue even as traditional shipyards became vulnerable. The structure itself was enormous, stretching more than 400 meters in length and featuring walls and a roof several meters thick. Engineers designed the facility to assemble the advanced Type 21 electro-boot submarines, which were considered revolutionary because of their high underwater speed and improved battery capacity. Sections of submarines were to be delivered by rail or river, assembled inside the bunker, and then launched into the water through a protected channel. This assembly line approach was meant to increase production efficiency and reduce exposure to Allied attacks. Construction relied heavily on forced laborers, including prisoners from concentration camps and foreign workers brought to Germany under harsh conditions. Thousands were assigned to the project, facing long hours, dangerous tasks, and inadequate living conditions. Historical records indicate that many workers died during construction due to exhaustion, illness, or accidents. Despite the immense effort invested in the bunker, the facility was never fully completed before the end of the war. Allied forces recognized the strategic importance of Bunker Valentine and targeted it with bombing raids in 1945, including attacks using powerful tallboy bombs designed to penetrate thick concrete. Although the structure suffered damage, much of it remained standing due to its massive construction. By the time Germany surrendered in May 1945, the bunker had not yet begun full-scale submarine production, illustrating how late war mega-projects often struggled to keep pace with the rapidly changing military situation. After the war, Bunker Valentine passed through several phases of use before eventually becoming a historical site and memorial. Today, it stands as one of the largest surviving examples of wartime bunker architecture, offering insight into the scale of Germany's industrial ambitions during the final years of the conflict. The facility also serves as a reminder of the human cost behind such projects, highlighting the suffering of forced laborers whose work helped construct one of the most imposing structures of the war. Landkreuzer P. 255 Monster, the Super Heavy Gun Project. The Landkreuzer P-1500 Monster was one of the most extreme heavy weapon proposals associated with Nazi Germany during World War II, reflecting the leadership's fascination with massive engineering projects late in the conflict. The concept reportedly emerged around 1942 as engineers explored ways to mount the enormous 800mm Schwerer Gustav railway gun onto a self-propelled platform. Instead of relying on rail tracks, the Monster was envisioned as a gigantic armored vehicle capable of moving across land while carrying one of the largest artillery pieces ever constructed. Although the project never moved beyond the planning stage, surviving documents suggest that its scale would have surpassed anything previously attempted in military design. Estimates indicated that the Landkreuzer P-1500 could have weighed well over 1,000 tons, making it vastly heavier than any operational tank or artillery system. The proposed vehicle would have required multiple submarine-style diesel engines to generate enough power for movement, while enormous tracks were planned to distribute its weight across the ground. Designers imagined armor thick enough to protect the gun crew from heavy bombardment, along with anti-aircraft weapons mounted on the hull to defend against air attacks. On paper, the Monster represented a mobile fortress capable of delivering devastating long-range firepower. However, the project faced overwhelming practical challenges. Even transporting such a machine across Europe would have been nearly impossible, as most bridges and roads could not support its weight. Fuel consumption would have been enormous, and the vehicle's slow speed would have made it an easy target for Allied aircraft, which dominated the skies by 1943 and 1944. Germany's industrial resources were already stretched thin, forcing leaders such as Armaments Minister Albert Speer to prioritize more realistic weapons systems. By late 1943, the Landkreuzer P-1500 concept was reportedly abandoned before construction began. Historians often cite the project as an example of how ambition sometimes overshadowed practicality during the later years of the war. While it never progressed beyond theoretical planning, the Monster illustrates the mindset of a regime searching for dramatic technological solutions as its strategic position weakened. Today, the idea survives mainly in design sketches and historical analysis, reminding observers of how extreme engineering proposals reflected both innovation and desperation during one of history's most intense conflicts. Haunibu disc, the controversial flying disc, claims. The Haunibu disc is one of the most controversial and debated topics connected to alleged secret Nazi technology, often described in post-war literature as a series of experimental, flying disc-shaped aircraft. Unlike documented wartime projects such as the Me-262 jet fighter or the V-2 rocket, the Haunibu story is largely based on claims that emerged decades after World War II, with little verified historical evidence to support it. According to various sources, the discs were said to be advanced propulsion vehicles developed by secret research groups within the SS, but historians remain deeply divided over whether any such program truly existed. Descriptions of the Haunibu discs often include circular aircraft powered by unconventional energy systems, sometimes linked to theories about anti-gravity technology. These claims gained popularity during the late 20th century, fueled by conspiracy theories and speculative books rather than official wartime documents. While Germany did experiment with unusual aircraft designs, including flying wing concepts like the Horten HO-229, no credible archival records confirm the existence of operational disc-shaped craft matching the Haunibu descriptions. Researchers who study German aviation history generally emphasize that many advanced projects were well documented through engineering drawings, test reports, and captured archives after 1945. The absence of similar material for the Haunibu suggests that the story may have originated from misinterpretations, Cold War-era rumors, or fictional narratives that blended real technology with imaginative speculation. Despite this, the idea of secret flying discs continues to capture public imagination, appearing frequently in documentaries, books, and online discussions. The fascination with the Haunibu concept also reflects a broader cultural interest in hidden wartime technology and the mysteries surrounding classified research. As Allied forces advanced into Germany at the end of the war, they captured vast amounts of scientific equipment and recruited many engineers through programs such as Operation Paperclip. This transfer of knowledge contributed to the rapid development of post-war aviation and space technology, which may have fueled later myths about lost secret weapons. Today, most historians approach the Haunibu story with skepticism, viewing it as an example of how legend can grow around genuine historical events. Whether considered myth or misunderstood rumor, the flying disc narrative highlights the enduring curiosity surrounding secret wartime research and the blurred line between documented history and popular imagination. Mittelwerk, the underground rocket production facility. Mittelwerk was one of the most significant underground industrial facilities created by Nazi Germany during the later years of World War II, designed to mass-produce advanced weapons while avoiding the devastating effects of Allied bombing. Located near Nordhausen in central Germany, the complex was built inside the Kohnstein mountain and became closely associated with the production of V-2 rockets and other experimental military technologies. Construction began in 1943 after British air raids severely damaged the Peenemünde research center, prompting German leaders to move critical manufacturing operations underground to ensure continued production. The facility consisted of long tunnels carved deep into the rock, reinforced with concrete and equipped with rail lines that allowed materials and finished rockets to be transported efficiently. Assembly lines were established within these tunnels, where workers built the liquid-fueled V-2 ballistic missiles that would later be launched against cities such as London and Antwerp. Unlike earlier production sites, Mittelwerk relied heavily on forced labor supplied by prisoners from the nearby Mittelbau-Dora concentration camp. Thousands of workers were subjected to brutal conditions, including long shifts, limited food, and exposure to hazardous environments, leading to a high death toll during construction and operation. By 1944, the underground factory had become a central part of Germany's rocket production program, assembling large numbers of missiles despite ongoing shortages of materials and skilled labor. However, the shift underground did not completely solve Germany's logistical problems. Technical defects, transportation difficulties, and the deteriorating military situation limited the overall effectiveness of the weapons produced there. As Allied forces advanced into Germany in early 1945, the SS attempted to evacuate the facility and destroy sensitive equipment to prevent capture. American troops reached the Mittelwerk complex in April 1945, discovering vast tunnels filled with unfinished rockets and industrial machinery. The site revealed both the scale of Germany's technological ambition and the severe human cost behind its construction. After the war, engineers and scientists connected to the V-2 program were taken to the United States and the Soviet Union, where their knowledge contributed to early missile and space programs. Today, Mittelwerk stands as a powerful historical example of how advanced engineering achievements were intertwined with exploitation and suffering during one of the most intense periods of industrialized warfare. Alpine Fortress, the secret last stand defense plan. The Alpine Fortress, often referred to by its German name Alpenfestung, was a proposed defensive strategy developed during the final phase of World War II as Nazi Germany faced collapse on multiple fronts. According to Allied intelligence reports from late 1944 and early 1945, German leaders were believed to be preparing a heavily fortified redoubt in the mountainous regions of southern Germany and western Austria. The idea suggested that surviving military forces and political leadership would retreat into the Alps, using natural terrain and fortified positions to prolong resistance even after major cities had fallen. Rumors about the Alpine fortress spread rapidly among Allied commanders, influencing strategic planning during the final months of the war. Intelligence agencies reported that large quantities of supplies, weapons, and elite SS units were being moved toward the region. Some maps and intercepted communications appeared to support the idea of a massive defensive network hidden within mountain tunnels and fortified bunkers. As a result, Allied forces devoted significant attention to securing key Alpine routes and preventing any organized last stand from taking shape. In reality, historians remain divided over how developed the Alpine fortress plan truly was. While Germany did construct defensive positions and store equipment in certain mountainous areas, evidence suggests that the idea of a fully operational fortress may have been exaggerated by propaganda and misinterpreted intelligence. By early 1945, Germany's military resources were severely depleted, making it difficult to establish a sustained resistance in such terrain. Instead of a coordinated last stand, many German units surrendered or retreated in small groups as Allied forces advanced. Despite its uncertain reality, the concept of the Alpine fortress played an important psychological role during the war's closing stages. It created fear among Allied planners that a prolonged guerrilla-style conflict might continue in the mountains, influencing decisions about troop movements and occupation strategies. After Germany's surrender in May 1945, investigations revealed that the fortress had never reached the scale once feared. Today, the Alpine fortress remains an example of how wartime rumors and strategic deception could shape military expectations, even when the actual threat was far more limited than originally believed. Peenemünde, expansion, the Advanced Rocket Research Center. Peenemunde was one of the most important research and testing sites connected to Germany's advanced weapons programs during World War II, serving as the birthplace of the V-2 rocket and other experimental technologies. Located on the Baltic coast, the Peenemunde Army Research Center was established in the late 1930s under the leadership of engineer Werner von Braun and military director General Walter Dornberger. The facility combined laboratories, launch pads, testing stands, and living quarters for scientists, creating a highly organized environment focused on pushing the boundaries of rocketry and guided missile development. As the war intensified, plans emerged to expand Peenemunde into an even larger research complex capable of producing advanced rockets and long-range weapons. Engineers experimented with propulsion systems, guidance technology, and aerodynamic designs that would later influence both military missiles and space exploration. The site became known for its large-scale testing infrastructure, including static engine test stands and launch areas where experimental rockets could be fired over the Baltic Sea. By 1942, the facility achieved a breakthrough when the A-4 rocket, later known as the V-2, completed a high-altitude flight, demonstrating the potential of long-range ballistic missiles. However, Peenemunde's importance also made it a target for Allied intelligence. In August 1943, the Royal Air Force launched Operation Hydra, a massive bombing raid aimed at disrupting rocket development. The attack caused significant damage and forced German leaders to reconsider the vulnerability of centralized research sites. In response, parts of the program were moved underground to locations such as Mittelwerk, where production could continue with less risk from airstrikes. Despite these disruptions, Peenemunde remained a symbol of technological ambition throughout the war. Scientists working there explored ideas that went far beyond immediate military needs, including early concepts related to spaceflight and high-altitude research. When Soviet forces captured the site in 1945, they found abandoned equipment, research papers, and partially completed rockets, providing valuable insight into German engineering progress. Today, Peenemünde is remembered as a turning point in the history of rocketry, representing both groundbreaking scientific innovation and the ethical challenges associated with wartime research conducted under extreme political pressure. Project Thor, the experimental energy weapon concept. Project Thor is a name sometimes associated with alleged experimental energy weapon research linked to late-war German science, though historical evidence surrounding the project remains limited and controversial. Unlike well-documented programs such as the V-2 rocket or jet aircraft development, references to Project Thor appear mainly in fragmented reports and post-war speculation rather than detailed technical archives. According to some claims, the concept involved attempts to harness electrical or directed energy technologies as potential weapons, reflecting a broader wartime interest in unconventional scientific research. During the later years of World War II, Germany explored a wide range of experimental technologies in response to mounting pressure from Allied forces. Scientists investigated radar systems, advanced propulsion, and electromagnetic experiments, leading to rumors that more exotic energy-based weapons might also have been considered. The idea behind Project Thor is often linked to theories about powerful electrical discharge systems or devices capable of disrupting enemy equipment. However, historians caution that many of these stories are based on indirect references rather than confirmed documentation. Part of the confusion surrounding Project Thor comes from the chaotic end of the war, when many research facilities were destroyed and scientific teams were captured or dispersed. Allied intelligence agencies collected vast amounts of technical material, but few records clearly describe an operational energy weapon matching the Thor concept. Some researchers suggest that the name may have been used informally or misinterpreted over time, blending real experimental physics with later myth-making. Despite the uncertainty, the discussion of Project Thor reflects the atmosphere of intense experimentation that characterized late-war German research programs. Faced with strategic setbacks, leaders encouraged scientists to pursue bold ideas that might deliver unexpected advantages. While no confirmed evidence shows that an energy weapon reached practical development, the story highlights how secrecy and incomplete records have allowed certain projects to remain subjects of debate decades later. Today, Project Thor is often approached with caution by historians, who distinguish between documented engineering achievements and speculative claims. Whether viewed as a misunderstood experiment or a legend shaped by Cold War narratives, it remains part of the broader discussion about hidden wartime research and the enduring fascination with technologies that seemed far ahead of their time. Neuschwabenland Expedition, the Nazi Antarctic base theory. The Neuschwabenland expedition refers to a German Antarctic mission carried out between 1938 and 1939, long before the outbreak of World War II. Officially known as the German Antarctic Expedition, the voyage was organized by the Nazi government to explore a region of Queen Maud Land and to support economic goals, particularly securing whaling resources that were important for producing oil and industrial materials. The expedition ship Schwabenland departed from Hamburg in December 1938 under the leadership of Captain Alfred Richer, carrying scientists, survey teams, and specialized aircraft designed for aerial mapping. During the mission, 2 Dornier Wall flying boats conducted extensive reconnaissance flights over the icy terrain, photographing vast stretches of coastline and inland mountains. The German crew dropped markers bearing swastika symbols to claim sections of the territory, which they named Neuschwabenland. These actions were consistent with international exploration practices of the time, as several countries were attempting to establish influence in Antarctica before the war began. Official records indicate that the expedition focused mainly on scientific observation, cartography, and resource assessment rather than military construction. Despite the relatively straightforward historical mission, the idea of a secret Nazi base in Antarctica emerged decades later through conspiracy theories and speculative books. Some claims suggest that Germany built hidden underground facilities beneath the ice, possibly intended as a refuge for leaders or as a testing ground for experimental technology. However, historians and polar researchers emphasize that there is no credible evidence supporting the existence of such bases. The harsh Antarctic environment, combined with Germany's limited resources during the war, would have made large-scale construction extremely difficult to maintain or conceal. The persistence of the Antarctic base theory is often linked to the broader fascination with secret Nazi projects and unexplained wartime mysteries. After 1945, the discovery of advanced German technology, such as rockets and jet aircraft, fueled public imagination, encouraging speculation that even more ambitious projects might have existed beyond known records. Popular culture, documentaries, and online discussions have continued to promote the Neuschwabenland myth, sometimes blending real historical facts with fictional elements. Modern research into archival documents and expedition reports paints a much clearer picture. The 1938 expedition was primarily scientific and economic in nature, with no verified military installations established in Antarctica. Today, the story of Neuschwabenland serves as an example of how historical exploration missions can evolve into myths when secrecy, wartime propaganda, and post-war curiosity intersect. While the idea of a hidden Antarctic base remains a popular topic in conspiracy circles, most historians view it as a legend rather than a documented chapter of World War II history.